On December 28, 2025, Brigitte Bardot, the legendary French actress and activist, passed away at the age of 91, marking the end of an era in French culture and cinema. She died peacefully in her cherished Saint-Tropez home, the sun-drenched retreat where she spent her final years surrounded by memories and the Mediterranean breeze. Bardot was more than a movie star. She was a global symbol of femininity, freedom, and rebellion, redefining what it meant to be a leading lady in the 1950s and 60s. Her effortless style and magnetic presence inspired generations, both in France and around the world. Her breakout role in And God Created Woman catapulted her to international fame, making her an icon overnight. The initials BB became synonymous with French glamour, sensuality, and a new kind of modern woman. After starring in nearly 50 films, Bardot retired from the screen while still young, choosing instead to dedicate her life to animal rights. This second act was as passionate and headline-grabbing as her first, but also far more controversial, sparking debates across France. Now, as the nation mourns, France faces a dilemma: how to remember a woman who was both a beloved icon and a divisive public figure, whose legacy is as complex as it is enduring. The debate over a national tribute to Bardot is about more than just her. It's a reflection of what, and who, France chooses to celebrate, and how a country reconciles pride with controversy in honoring its icons. Following Bardot's death, right-wing leaders like Éric Ciotti demanded a national tribute, arguing her cultural impact outweighs her controversies. They highlight her role as a global ambassador for France, her films and style shaping international perceptions of French identity. Supporters, including Marine Le Pen, describe Bardot as the embodiment of French independence and spirit. An online petition for a national send-off quickly gained tens of thousands of signatures, reflecting widespread admiration. For these advocates, a tribute isn't an endorsement of every opinion Bardot held, but recognition of her undeniable influence on French culture. They see her as a symbol of individualism and artistic achievement, deserving of national honor. Yet this call for celebration is fiercely contested by those who see her legacy as irreparably tarnished. Bardot's supporters point to her role as the model for Marianne, the enduring symbol of the French Republic, as proof she deserves the nation's highest honors. They argue that her image, immortalized in marble and plaster, has inspired generations and become a visual shorthand for the values France holds dear. In 1969, her face became the official embodiment of liberty, equality, and fraternity in town halls across France, replacing older, more traditional depictions of Marianne with a modern, instantly recognizable visage. This choice marked a significant shift toward a modern, liberated image of France, with Bardot representing the youthful, rebellious spirit of the 1960s. She became a symbol not just of beauty, but of a changing society eager to break with the past. For many, honoring Bardot is honoring the very ideals of the Republic: freedom, progress, and the courage to redefine national identity in each new era. Yet critics argue her later rhetoric, convicted multiple times for inciting racial hatred, betrayed those same values, casting a shadow over her legacy and raising uncomfortable questions about who should represent the nation. The paradox is stark. Can the face of French liberty truly be celebrated when her words and actions have so publicly contradicted the very principles she once symbolized? The debate is as passionate as it is unresolved. The debate over Bardot as Marianne crystallizes the nation's ongoing struggle with her complex legacy, forcing France to confront its own contradictions and ideals. It's a battle over what Marianne, and by extension France, should stand for today, and who is worthy to embody its spirit for future generations. Bardot's defenders also cite her role in women's liberation, portraying unapologetically independent women on screen and supporting abortion rights before it was mainstream. Her advocacy helped shift public opinion, contributing to the legalization of abortion in France. Internationally, Bardot's fame made French culture aspirational, her style and persona emulated worldwide. Even today, her influence is felt, as seen when pop stars reference her as a symbol of vintage glamour. For supporters, a national tribute would honor her as a trailblazer for women and a global ambassador for France. Yet, her legacy remains complicated, as her later views alienated many who once saw her as a feminist icon. The question remains, can her early contributions outweigh her later controversies? For many, Bardot's later years overshadow her cinematic achievements. Her repeated attacks on minorities, especially Muslims and immigrants, led to widespread condemnation and legal convictions. Critics argue that her rhetoric directly contradicted the values of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Political leaders and activists insist that national honors should be reserved for those who uphold Republican ideals, not undermine them. Bardot's selective compassion, fierce for animals, indifferent to human suffering, deepened the divide. The debate isn't about erasing her, but about who France chooses to elevate as a symbol. Bardot's legacy is further complicated by her 5 convictions for inciting racial hatred, mostly targeting France's Muslim community. These legal battles, which spanned over 2 decades, have left a lasting mark on her public image and reputation, overshadowing her earlier fame as a beloved actress and animal rights activist. Her inflammatory statements went beyond animal rights, becoming a sustained campaign against minorities. Bardot's repeated remarks, published in books and interviews, drew widespread condemnation from human rights groups and the media, fueling public outrage and sparking heated debates across France. Critics say honoring her would excuse behavior the courts found criminal, undermining the Republic's values. They argue that celebrating Bardot risks sending a message that hate speech and intolerance can be overlooked in the name of celebrity. Bardot's open support for the far right, including Marine Le Pen, and her husband's ties to the National Front, cemented her alignment with divisive politics. Her public endorsements and appearances at rallies further polarized opinion, making her a symbol for some and a warning for others. She also alienated feminists by dismissing the Me Too movement and expressing homophobic views. These stances distanced her from progressive movements and led to further criticism from activists who once admired her. For opponents, her later persona was defined by division and reaction, making her unfit for national celebration. The controversy surrounding Bardot has become a flashpoint in broader cultural and political debates. Even her status as a feminist icon is now hotly debated. Some see her as a trailblazer for women's independence, while others view her as out of step with modern feminist values. The controversy over Bardot is as much about the future of French identity as it is about her past. Her story forces France to confront difficult questions about who should be celebrated and what values truly define the nation. President Macron's government has walked a careful line, offering condolences but avoiding a clear stance on a national tribute. Macron's message praised Bardot's early legacy, sidestepping her controversies. Reports suggest the Élysée offered a tribute, but Bardot's family did not respond, leaving the government in limbo. Public opinion is sharply divided. Petitions for and against a tribute reflect a nation split between nostalgia and principle. Supporters see Bardot as a cultural icon. Opponents see her as a symbol of values France must reject. The debate has become a proxy for broader cultural and political battles. Nationalism versus inclusivity. With no consensus, the government's cautious distance is a politically safe, if unsatisfying, solution. The question of Bardot's legacy remains unresolved, echoing France's own identity crisis. While the national debate stalls, local leaders like Nice's mayor have moved ahead, naming sites after Bardot to honor her regional legacy. These local tributes celebrate the glamorous star of the Riviera, sidestepping the national controversy. Internationally, Bardot's death was met with nostalgia for her film career, with many abroad unaware of her divisive politics. The backlash to tributes, like pop singer Chappelle Roan's retracted post, shows the world is only now grappling with Bardot's full story. The gap between her image as a style icon and her real-life views has sparked global debate. Local honors allow for remembrance without the weight of national endorsement. The world, like France, is left to wrestle with the question: can we separate the art from the artist? The debate over Bardot's legacy is a mirror for France's own divisions between past and present, pride and principle. She was both a revolutionary icon and a figure of controversy, forcing the nation to confront the contradictions in its heroes. The government's indecision and the family's silence have left the question open, with local tributes offering a compromise. Bardot's story is a reminder that history is rarely simple, and that every generation must decide who deserves to be celebrated. The unresolved debate challenges France and the world to consider where to draw the line between art and ideology. In the end, Bardot remains a symbol of both liberation and division, her legacy as complex as the country she represented.